News at sunrise.
And we start your morning headlines with breaking news and a major traffic alert. A big stretch of I-84 eastbound is closed right now because of a deadly crash involving a car and a semi. We're told the car was on fire. The red line on this map shows just how long the closure is. It starts at 39th Avenue and goes all the way up to I-205. We also want to give you this live look at the scene. This is right at the 74th Avenue overpass at I-84. Portland police say the closure will last several hours. We do have a crew on scene. We will be updating you as we learn more. Chris McGinnis will also have your traffic headlines later this half hour. Here are some of the other stories we're following at 5 o'clock. A vehicle hit and killed a person walking in the Buckman neighborhood last night. This happened at East Burnside and 22nd Avenue around 11 o'clock. We don't really have many details yet, but we know the driver who hit the person stayed at the scene. 12 of the 61 horses found neglected at a boarding center in Lane County are now back with their owners. Those horses were very malnourished. More are expected to be returned to their owners over the next few days. The property owner, by the way, is charged with animal neglect. Those are your Tuesday headlines. Now, here's what's coming up on Sunrise.
Brenda, we're going to start with houseplants. I know this because I just asked you 60 seconds ago. You have no houseplants in your home. But our friend Nina tells me that houseplants are super popular right now. But which ones will actually survive with all the gray skies we can typically have here during the fall and winter months in the Northwest? Well, in 15 minutes, Nina will show us a local shop that will explain 5 of those houseplants that will thrive in our weather conditions. Also this morning.
For some jazz. Yeah, I'm going to see my cat that I haven't seen in like 5 years. The friendliest cat that I've ever known.
So that guy right there is about to be reunited with his cat. So as he just mentioned, you may have heard, that cat has been missing for 5 years. What's even more incredible, not how long he's been gone, how far he traveled. The cat showed up 1,200 miles away from here in New Mexico. And apparently, Brenda, this is not confirmed, I can't verify this, but apparently when asked why did he want to come back to Portland, the cat said, I miss Rod Hill's weather forecast.
Oh!
We all know cats love the rain, right? They love it. All right, we've had some traffic issues, but that aside, boy, did we need this. Right now, this heavy batch of rain is on the east side. Let's show you that up close. So here's Troutdale, Sandy. The heavier rain rates are actually getting ready to drop to the south over your heads. It's a mess on 84 out into the gorge in terms of rain rates right now. So to the bus stop. 8 o'clock this morning, it will already be much drier than it is right now, but there will still be rainy areas around 50 degrees. We'll be in the 50s all day for a second straight day. By lunchtime, just a few showers, and it really should be mainly dry but cloudy when the kids get out of school. The rain rates have been impressive in terms of the totals. I'll share that with you coming up in just a bit.
All right, Rod, thanks a lot. 1 hour from right now, the second week of public impeachment hearings gets underway in Washington, D.C. with a critical wave of witnesses set to testify.
Yeah, we will hear a total of 9 officials over the next 3 days. NBC's Craig Boswell has more on what to expect.
Week 2 of high-stakes hearings underway. 9 witnesses scheduled to testify over the next 3 days. House Democrats making their case of abuse of power by President Trump when withholding military aid to Ukraine in exchange for investigations of the president's political rivals.
We've got to be laser focused on what is the impeachable conduct.
4 officials scheduled to testify today. 3 of them were listening in on the July 25th phone call between President Trump and the Ukrainian president, the call at the center of the impeachment inquiry.
Well, I think you're going to see a continued attack on the substance and a continued attack on the fact that there was nothing that was wrong, there was nothing improper.
But lawmakers will hear from Jennifer Williams, the top advisor to Vice President Mike Pence. In released transcripts, she described the call as unusual and inappropriate and said Trump's request for specific investigations was a personal political agenda. President Trump suggested Monday he may consider testifying after the House Speaker suggested it.
I think there are 2 chances, Slim and none, and Slim just left the room.
In today's afternoon session, former Special Envoy Kurt Volker and NSC staffer Tim Morrison answer questions. Morrison previously said he didn't think there was anything illegal about the call. Also up this morning, Lieutenant Colonel Alex Vindman, who described the call as troubling and reported that to the top lawyer at the NSC. Craig Boswell, NBC News, Washington.
We are airing that testimony live on KGW starting at 6 a.m., but our local coverage won't stop, and it'll be commercial free this morning. There are lots of ways to watch. You can switch over to channel 8.2, or if you're watching on Comcast, that's channel 308. Charter cable is channel 183, and on Frontier, it's channel 461. You can also hop onto our social media pages or the KGW News app, where you will find us streaming our 6 o'clock show.
Wherever you're watching us, I say thank you. Yesterday on the show, we talked about the I-5 Interstate Bridge meeting that was going to happen. So this morning, we can tell you what did happen at that meeting. Oregon Governor Kate Brown and Washington Governor Jay Inslee met yesterday in Vancouver. They signed a memorandum of intent, basically representing one of the first steps needed to get an interstate bridge project going again. There are some questions about funding right now after Washington voters agreed to limit the cost of vehicle registration stickers to just $30. But while Governor Inslee has put a freeze on a wide range of transportation projects, replacing the I-5 bridge is not one of them.
The voters' initiative will not affect at least our immediate actions because this is a safety issue. It is a replacement of an existing bridge. And our freeze, if you will, applies to new capacity infrastructure.
One thing we know for sure, there is still a long road ahead in this effort to replace the existing I-5 bridge. One thing we don't know is how soon construction could start.
The issue that sparked a Republican walkout in the Oregon legislature this summer will be up for debate again early next year. We're talking about cap and trade. Yesterday, the environmental coalition Renew Oregon called for action, saying if lawmakers can't get a bill passed this time, the activists themselves will take it straight to the people.
If large corporate polluters and their allies don't like the Clean Energy Jobs Bill, they're going to hate our ballot measures because they contain even more clean air protections.
Cap and trade is a term for capping the amount of carbon that companies can release into the air. If they stay under the cap, they can trade their leftover emission allowances to others. In addition to that Republican walkout, the proposed cap and trade bill this past summer sparked protests from lots of loggers. Political analysts say the new bill will have to carve out some exceptions to get more people on board.
Parking downtown just got a little more expensive because the rates have gone up at 5 of the city-owned Smart Park garages. The all-day rate went up $2. Short-term parking rates will stay the same. PBOT says the increase for all-day parking is meant to encourage more turnover in the garages and create more spaces for downtown shoppers and visitors. They say ideally, in an ideal world, the garages would stand at 85% occupancy. Right now, though, they're over that mark.
The occupancy rate has been approaching 100%, so they're full. So if you're coming downtown to shop, you can't find a spot.
So what do the good people of Portland have to say about this? Well, some of the people we talked to yesterday had their doubts about the rate increase actually freeing up space.
It's not going to make any more parking available, I wouldn't think. I think those spots are going to be filled no matter how much they charge for them.
PBOT also says they hope people that do work downtown and need that all-day parking will look into parking at private garages. All right, let's forget about the increase in parking rates. Let's talk Blazers for a moment. So you have a choice, Brenda Braxton. You can talk about last night's Blazers loss at Houston, or you could talk about tonight's game in New Orleans.
Yeah, I watched last night's game. No, thank you. I definitely want to talk about tonight's game because Carmelo Anthony is expected to make his debut tonight against the Pelicans. Christine Pitawanich is covering the story. So, Christine, everybody's anxious to see how he fits in with Dame and CJ and company.
Yeah, I know. And tonight may be the night that we get to see that, right? A lot of buzz about Carmelo Anthony. He's, of course, a 10-time NBA All-Star, and ESPN commentators have said today may be his big debut as part of the Portland Trail Blazers. And as an ESPN article says, Coach Terry Stotts apparently said Anthony is expected to, quote, join the team on Tuesday. In fact, just last night, Anthony posted this video to his YouTube channel talking about how he has always kept his eye on Portland and how playing for the team seems like a perfect opportunity. Anthony hasn't actually played, though, since last year when he was with the Houston Rockets. He was then traded to the Chicago Bulls, where he did not play a game. shortly after the Bulls waived him and he was unsigned for the rest of the season. But his trainer posted this video to Twitter last night saying, quote, last workout before the big debut. In Anthony's YouTube video, he also talked about all the work he's been putting in now that he knows he'll be playing for Portland.
It's a big difference in training while you're waiting and training once you get the call and say, okay, we want to do this.
So, this summer when we started, it was more just about keeping him in game shape. It was my job to take a look at what actions they were running, where they were going to use him.
And of course, Blazers are in New Orleans tonight playing against the Pelicans. If you are all interested, I know I'm interested. If you're all interested, tip off at 5 o'clock.
I was fixated on that video. From what I counted, he took 6 shots in that video he just showed.
Boom.
Made all 6 shots.
Yep.
He's ready. He's ready to go.
Nobody was on him. Action.
I hope we're not overbilling this.
I don't think
he hasn't played well in a long time.
Right.
No,
Rod. We put it out there.
I know.
We all know the facts. He hasn't played in a year. He was cut by a couple of teams.
We hope he can come in and make a few baskets, right?
Yes,
that would be awesome.
I'm guessing he can.
Yes.
I hope so.
At least a few.
I will say this. Can I say this, Rod? Last year, he only played 10 games last year before he was cut from Houston. In 3 of those 10 games, he scored over 20 points. Now, the guy, I think, based on that, can still score.
Can still shoot. I hope so. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, we're making this seem like a messiah, and I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Well, that Twitter video.